Art and beauty. People who love beauty and appreciate the world of art in all its forms are already living in a spiritual paradise. Those who do not appreciate the beauty of nature, the moon, snow, and flowers, and are not grateful for the kindness bestowed by others, are on a low spiritual level. To enjoy spring's flowers and autumn's bright leaves is our way of expressing gratitude to God for his benevolence. Paradise may be called a world of art. Truly fine painting, sculpture, literature, music, and other forms of art and entertainment will flourish in the daylight age. Not only these, but all phases of living should be equally artistic, for art is an essential part of life. In essence, art must be based upon truth, beauty, and goodness. This principle extends to the body also. Illness, whether physical, mental, or spiritual, results when the art of living is violated. The channeling of the divine light, therefore, can truly be called an art. Health is the true state of being, the true condition of humanity. The fundamental requisite for the transformation into paradise on earth is the embodiment of truth, virtue, and beauty in every part of living.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning service of the Miroku Association headquarters. Yesterday, I shared about one passage from Meishu-sama's book, Meishu-sama, The Life and Mission of Mokichi Okabe. It was regarding the Hakone Art Museum. Today, I would also like to refer to another passage from this book. It is the chapter called Collecting Art. After World War II had ended, Japan passed through one of the most drastic changes any country had ever experienced, done under the supervision of the Allied occupation forces. Extreme inflation resulted, which necessitated the issuance of new currency. Also, enormous property taxes were levied in order to control inflation and also to support the government of this poor nation. This action especially affected families of wealth and big business corporations. The currency block and the huge property taxes caused panic among the privileged classes and the ruin of quite a number of them. As a result, many of their art treasures and heirlooms, securely locked away up to that time, were sold in order to pay taxes and other debts, reestablish credit, and or accumulate capital with which to start new businesses. It was during this post-war period that Meishu-sama began to collect art objects, and the transitional unrest that existed greatly favored his project. Soon, top-ranking art dealers were eagerly bringing to him masterpieces that wealthy and upper classes people wanted to sell. Gradually, his collection increased, and his eye for, as well as his knowledge of art, improved considerably at the same time. In 1952, he wrote, "It was 3 years ago that I made up my mind to establish an art museum. Since then, very mysteriously, art objects that the best answer my purpose had begun to come to me one after another in unexpected numbers. I feel that God must have started this action through me for the building of the art museum. Whenever I wished to have a certain piece of art that I felt was indispensable for my envisioned museum, it came into my possession without fail. The art dealers expressed their astonishment Each time this happened, he gave us an example of the following instance. He once told an art dealer that he wished to secure the first edition of the well-known woodblock prints by Hiroshige of the 53 landscapes along the Tokaido Highway, connecting Tokyo and Kyoto, which were quite rare and almost priceless. Hiroshige was a great landscape painter who lived between 1797 and 1858, and who exerted considerable influence on European post-impressionists. To Meishu-sama's surprise, the art dealer brought the desired prints to him the next day, explaining, "Yesterday, soon after I got home, someone brought the first edition of Hiroshige's landscapes to me. I was amazed because for 40 years I had been looking for them without success. Suddenly they came to me. I could not believe it. This is so mysterious that I cannot understand why it happened." Meishu-sama felt the divine hand working behind this and was very grateful. He made no effort to bargain about the price, partly because he wanted to help the owners of the prints who were financially distressed. Similar mysterious or miraculous incidents happened many times during the collection of art pieces for the museum. Meishu-sama explained the reason these mysteries happened. In the spiritual world, the creators of these pieces of art and those who once owned and cherished them have taken action because they wished to render some valuable service to our divine work. They have worked to see to it that the art objects would somehow reach me. They know that they can be blessed and spiritually elevated by such services. In 1982 was the inauguration of the headquarters of our movement in Brazil. They built a 7-story building, and many volunteers were recruited for that very important event. I was 19 years old at that time, and I was invited for a very, very important mission to be the elevator operator. I felt, and I had always thought how ingenious many of the ministers had approached this, because in order to give the chance for everyone to participate, so they had to think, okay, what kind of mission I can give to this person, to that person. So my mission was to be an elevator guy, which didn't require any effort. It was a modern elevator. Anyone could push a button. But not just they gave him the offer. There was the training too, to be well-dressed, to be polite. So to each person that comes, welcome ma'am, welcome sir, which floor please? So that was very nice. I was proudly doing that for several hours. And because I was so young, especially older, adults and whatnot, when they would enter the elevator, they almost laughed or felt that was a cute thing, because there was this kind of a mission. Not just me, but we had 3 elevators, so there were other young people doing the same mission. But why I'm mentioning that? Because for that inauguration, on the mezzanine floor, that was normally reserved to be an art gallery, they had these Hiroshige prints for that inauguration. It was such a great moment for art and culture in Brazil and São Paulo, the press was already anticipating that. Many technicians from the Japanese art ministry, they came to inspect that everything would be in accordance, because those prints are all masterpieces, and that all the lights would be in perfect temperature, not to affect these prints and whatnot, and it became so widely known through the society that for 3 consecutive years, the Mokichi Okada Foundation, which is the cultural arm of our movement, Jorai movement in Brazil, so that building or that exhibition, or that, not the Hiroshige exhibition because it was for a short period of time, but the mezzanine as an art gallery and the foundation, its purpose and whatnot, they were all part of a tour, recommended artistic or cultural tour by the city of São Paulo. So the subway company then had that activity, was called Metro Tour. So they, as part of visiting important cultural sites in São Paulo, so the foundation was one of them. So groups of visitors, tourists, would come to our facilities over there to enjoy art and beauty, and they were introduced to the outer room even, saying, look, this foundation is part of this religious movement, and we would like to introduce you what the founder, Meishu-sama, what he envisioned besides art. So he had these principles about healing, which is Jorai, the principles about nature, through the nature farming. So that was very interesting. And during my training, which is 1985, so I sometimes would receive these guests, these tourists, and we would show them floor to floor what each floor of the headquarters, 7 stories building, had to offer, but especially the mezzanine where the art gallery was. So I feel really privileged that I had that opportunity to see these works of Hiroshige during that inauguration of the headquarters, and that's why I wanted to convey these words today. And I want to issue a wonderful day and the fulfillment of your mission through the basic practice of faith. Thank you very much.